Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Better Than Broadway, Season 2, Episode 13. I am Coach Rob. With me, as always, the chef.
What's up?
Chef Ryan. Justin is out on assignment. We'll hear from him next week. It has been a wild week in professional wrestling. We're fresh off of WrestleMania, and Chef, you have a special guest for us tonight who went to WrestleMania night one. Take it away, brother.
That is correct. We want firsthand experiences. We want the nitty, the gritty. We want to know what was like,
Not so
what the
pretty.
smell was, how expensive the beer was. And right now, my good friend JR is going to tell us all that. JR, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me on the pod. I listen every week. So
Gotta love it, man. WrestleMania, you know, the grandest stage of them all, the granddaddy of them all. JR, first and foremost, thank you for joining us on the podcast tonight. And
Well, hang on. Before we get into
night.
WrestleMania, we've got some questions.
Okay.
right.
Some difficult questions.
Chef, hit him with that first question.
All right. No one comes on the podcast and dodges these. We ask, even children these questions.
You have children on the pod?
Justin's kids pop up every now and then.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So first question, JR, who is your favorite wrestler of all time?
All time? It's probably either Brock Lesnar or The Rock.
Tell us more.
As a kid, it was always Hulk Hogan, like every kid growing up. Eat your vitamins, brother. Say your prayers. It was Hulk Hogan. But my mom's favorite wrestler, because I watched it as a kid in a high chair with her, was Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, so
loved them.
your mom was big into wrestling?
Because I liked it on TV as a kid in my high chair. So yes.
So she got into it. What a cool experience.
And her favorite wrestler is The Rock because he's handsome.
I mean, my girlfriend Kate, The Rock doesn't know this, but he is her best friend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I'm sure his looks have nothing to do with it.
You know, I gotta tell you something right here. Yeah. Me and JR's mom, we're good friends. Everybody knows that the Macho Man, Randy Savage, JR's mom, yeah, we go around like peas and carrots, baby. Yeah. Cream of the crop. Oh, yeah.
Who let Macho Man in here? Who brought the Macho Man back from the grave?
You know something I love about Otis?
Rob, did you black out right there?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened. I'm tired. I'm really tired. I've had maybe 6 hours of sleep in 3 days, but how you doing? Keep it moving. One thing I love about Otis, and I was thinking about this the other day. You ever notice how when the crowd hypes up and they start chanting for Otis and he starts doing that thing where he just kind of goes like he's looking around? He does. It's that same head bob thing that Macho Man Randy Savage used to do. And I don't know why, but I finally figured out why I like Otis. And it's because he does the like, oh yeah, like doing the head bob thing with this 40-inch neck. God love Otis.
That neck is a telephone pole.
Man, that thing gets cellular service. I mean, that man's magnificent. So JR, man, continue to elaborate on why your favorite wrestlers growing up were not only Hulk Hogan, but also
The
Rock and Brock.
Yeah, I mean, The Rock's charisma, even though as Rocky Maivia, he was awful until he kind of like Roman, where he turned heel and then he kind of gave himself a personality other than smiley baby face, like Apollo Crews, who probably is stuck in that role forever. But once he went like heel, nation domination, he just turned himself into something way bigger. It's weird because like I like The Rock and my friends all like Stone Cold growing up. So
Dude, the Rock and Stone Cold feud was so like because I was in middle school at that time, and I'm sure, so annoyingly off the chain with professional wrestling to my parents, like just, pleading, no, Raw is on. I've got to watch it. I don't care. I'll do my homework afterwards. And my mom would like come up during homework, Raw, and I'd be like watching it. And then I'd hear footsteps come up the stairs. I'd turn it off and be like typing in the computer. And mom would come up and put her hand on the television, see if it was hot. Like,
your mom knew. And then growing up in high school, I had my best friend at the time. His dad and his brother also watched wrestling stuff. Every Monday night during the summer break, was Raw or Thunder on Thursdays. It'd be at least 2 weeks a night watching wrestling with them. So,
Hell yeah.
eating Cheez-Its and popcorn.
that's the life right there, dude.
Life. Yeah.
So JR, tell us then, what is, if you got Rock, so tell us about Brock. Why Brock?
Brock is just a beast.
Goddamn.
I've watched him. I watched high school and college wrestling. I kind of did that in high school myself.
Okay.
So like watching him just like not get defeated. His old big ass thick neck too. Can I say ass?
Yeah, you can say anything you want.
Watching him just throw people around and pin them like so easily. And then like when he like got with Kurt Angle, and I don't know if you probably know this stuff, like they did a impromptu wrestling match in front of the boys, and like Kurt owned them. And that's like, for thinking that how big
that makes me happy.
Yeah.
Kurt completely owned him in wrestling. I was like, oh crap, Kurt is the best.
Well, it was, not to jump sports here, but it's kind of the same feeling when Cain Velasquez fought him in the UFC and just destroyed Brock, and Brock's like trying to take him down, and Kane's like, yeah. So it was very satisfying because Brock is such a great heel. He's a great farm guy now. Farmer B, but Cowboy Brock. But when he was in the UFC, he was hamming it up. He was playing his persona, like, I'm big, I'm gonna destroy you, and like you just can't beat him because it's like it's fighting the immovable wall, and you're not the unstoppable force.
Yes.
And so when Kane did that, that was like, such a good moment. Yeah. So now, JR, tell me, what has been your favorite mark out moment?
Oh, that's I don't know. That's a hard one for me. I don't know. I think like Stone Cold with the milk truck, not the milk truck, the beer truck. And Kurt Angle.
I have the same one.
Truck, and Kurt Angle with the milk truck. Yeah, those two were probably my favorite. Because you can't get away with that anymore. You can't spray beer on people. They're going to freak out and sue you. Like, my kid has beer on him.
We're so much more sensitive these days. Yeah. But I think, I've said this before too, JR, is like the beer truck and the milk truck, like those are iconic scenes. And like, remember last year's SummerSlam when Brock had the tractor and lifted up the ring? That was like essence of that. Like, let's do something that you didn't think could be done.
Yes.
And that's what I loved about it.
Everything about that match was super cool. Like coming out on the tractor, standing on the tractor and announcing himself. He tosses the microphone into the ring, and Roman caught it.
Didn't even flinch.
Just caught it, and then they bring the tractor in, they lift the ring up and do all the other shit, dude. It was just bizarre, the stuff that they were able to do in that match, and made it so entertaining. But we're not really talking about SummerSlam. We're talking about Mania. And JR,
you were there. You were eyes on.
I was there,
dude. You were there. All right. So, should we just run down the card, should we? Okay. So, first match of the night, opening match was John Cena versus Austin Theory. Theory, the young upstart, the 24, 25-year-old youngest United States champion, youngest Money in the Bank winner,
Atlanta bred wrestler.
Going up against his idol, the Atlanta native going up against his idol. And, you know, it's very interesting to me because I don't know how everybody else feels about this, but I see so much of John Cena in Austin Theory. The physique, the attitude, all the other stuff. I mean, now I've seen Austin Theory work as a face in the Indies, Southern Honor Wrestling here in Atlanta and Canton. He did some work for them. He works his face, but he's great as a heel. Now that he's grown his beard in, you know, Owen Hart couldn't grow his beard in, but Austin Theory's
JR's on the podcast. His beard is better than mine.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
I just shaved off about like an inch or so.
Okay, you don't need to gloat. Okay, you know, like
he's gonna mail it to you so you can glue it on your face. So tell us, you know, you're there, John Cena, Austin Theory, first match of the night. The crowd's hot. The crowd's ready for a good show. JR, take it.
Yeah, so we're all watching there. We had pretty good seats. What happened during the heat? So I don't know if you guys saw if they showed on TV or not. Cena sprints down the ramp. The ramp is probably at least
like 100 yards.
Yeah, it's huge, and it's about like 50 feet off the ground when you start. So if Cena slips or falls, it's done for. But yeah, during the match, it was good. It was a good, probably split half and half based on the cheering. But then everyone does the Cena. We love Cena. Cena sucks. Yeah.
Right.
But like a lot of people did like Austin Theory in our section, and to me, I forgot I had my Atlanta Braves hat on. And some guy was like, "Oh, Theory sucks." I'm like, we like looking around. He's talking to me. I'm like, "Oh, I have my Braves hat on."
Nice.
But Theory looks just like Cena as the I believe he was the prototype.
Yes.
In what is it, FCW or
FCW?
FCW. So yeah, he looks just
OVW.
like
OVW.
OVW. That's right.
I mean, Theory has the physique for everything. Like, not too big, not too small. You know, very athletic, very, you know, ambidextrous, or not ambidextrous, acrobatic.
Yes.
You know, it's kind of the same thing. Like you're talking about the prodigy, or the not prodigy, but the clone of John Cena coming up, but in a little bit reverse. Like, you know, Cena has always been a face, always trying to be cool, and Theory's kind of like, you know, fuck you. I'm gonna take this because I've earned it.
Yes.
So kind of the yin and the yang of that stuff of the John Cena.
Yeah, he's kind of like the thugonomics version of John Cena without as much rapping. He's like, I know I'm good. I'm gonna tell you I'm good. I'm gonna beat you.
No, I mean, the thing is, with me, it's like when people have that kind of confidence, you know, the quickest way you can shut people up is just prove it. You know, Israel Adesanya had the UFC fight last night, boasting a lot, and put the guy to sleep. That's all I gotta say.
Is it my understanding that he's retiring from UFC?
Israel?
Yeah.
No, I didn't get that impression at all.
Is it Masvidal that's retiring?
Masvidal retired, yeah. Jorge Masvidal retired last night.
Okay, that's it. I had heard someone retired.
Yeah, he's 39. He's you know, hasn't won a lot the past few years. He's had some good highlights, but his best year was 2019, where he had the amazing knockout, had the awesome fight with Nate Diaz, and then you know, just age catches up with you.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm 39. I totally understand.
I'm 40.
Then,
I dig it.
And then, were you guys watching? Could you tell that the crowd was cheering? Like, so the screens went blank. Like all the big screens that are there on the yeah. So like the people on the upper level were all cheering, like, turn the screens on, like, fix the screens, like, clap, clap, clap.
Like, they were just displaying nothing?
Yeah, it was nothing. It was just like the WrestleMania logo. So like if you're up in the top levels or somewhere else, you can barely see what's going on. Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
That happened in the Seth match too, and everyone started. Those chants were louder. And I think we'll talk about it in the Seth match, but yeah.
I mean, that was one thing I was kind of like, I was talking to Kate about, was like a little bit of the nostalgia or the ambiance goes away, like it being during the day.
Yes.
Because like, oh, you cut off all the lights, you still see everything. And then when, night 2, when Cody and Roman came out, you cut off all the lights and it's pitch black. And that's kind of what you want. You want to establish that, the LED background of all the wrestlers that blows. So I don't know. What's your opinion of, day versus night?
It's definitely better than during the night. Like you being there, it started 5 o'clock West Coast time.
Mm-hmm.
Since with the time change, it's super bright still. And it didn't get dark until maybe whoever came on before the KO match, the tag match, it finally got dark.
That was Rhea and
Charlotte.
Charlotte.
It got dark during their match. At least dark enough for the LEDs and all that you could see.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm just glad it didn't rain. You know what I'm saying?
So it's a covered stadium.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's open on the sides, but it has a roof to it.
Oh, I didn't know that. It from the shot, it really looks like it's outdoor completely. But I guess I didn't realize that they had a roof on it. The Mercedes-Benz Stadium here in Atlanta has that retractable roof, so it opens.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
Oh, sorry. So it's like the remember the old Georgia Dome roof, that little like tarp type of thing. That's what they have on their roof, but it's not. It doesn't fully enclose.
Okay.
So if it rains, everyone stays dry, but you still feel the breeze because the sides are open.
That's cool. Nice.
That is cool.
Which was not fun when the sun went down and those breeze coming in at like 55 degrees.
That's
nice.
where they held the national championship, was at SoFi Stadium. The college football national championship this year was at SoFi.
Yeah. And that was New Year's Eve. That must have been cold.
Yeah. I had some friends that went and said it was really cold.
Yeah.
So it rained all weekend, and luckily things just kind of chilled out for.
Well, it was really cold if you weren't a Georgia fan.
Yeah, go Dogs. Oh man!
So
cool.
After John Cena,
it was the tag team showcase match: Braun Strowman and Ricochet versus the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy versus the Viking Raiders. The Street Profits came away with a victory on that one. JR, tell us what you got.
There are some super athletic guys in the match.
No.
Montez Ford, Ricochet does crazy things that only I can dream of doing. Otis is fun to watch. Gable was impressive.
Gable's always impressive, dude.
Yeah, as little as that man is, he does things that you think a little dude like that couldn't do.
That guy's a stud. No doubt.
And then I've seen Ricochet at center stage when he was in that NXT. That was fun to watch, like just in person, that close. He's doing all those shooting star presses, salts and all that. But the match was good. Everyone was into it, especially towards the end. We kind of picked up to go home. Crowd ate it up.
So my prediction of the Viking Raiders winning did not happen.
Did not happen.
No.
I mean, okay, look, like you want the unexpected to happen. That was the most unexpected thing that was going to happen.
Yes. Yeah.
To the point where everyone knew it wouldn't happen.
Yeah, I think everyone had probably either Ricochet and Braun or
Profits.
Yeah, Profits. And I like the Profits. I don't know if it's a new finisher they have where he does the frog splash under the guy's knees. That's pretty good. Other than Montez hitting the huge. He gets so much air. I don't know if you guys in person do it. It's crazy how much air he gets.
I mean, Rob, you're a strength coach. Like, how does someone get that much leg strength to launch themselves in the air, 20, 30 feet to do a frog splash?
20, 30 feet. Yeah.
20, 30 inches, yards, whatever.
We'll go with like 3.5, 4 feet above the ring ropes, landing 5 feet down. It's about a 10-foot drop from where Montez is coming from, which is still incredible feat in itself. It's very interesting because squat strength and deadlift strength and being able to power clean heavyweight, having that explosiveness in the hips, glutes, hamstrings, etc., is very special. And when you have an athlete like Montez Ford doing something like that, it really just, a lot of it's God-given ability that he has just accentuated through strength training. I mean, he's a bull. Look at that guy. He's huge. He's 6'5", and he's like 240 pounds. He's in shape. Forget about that frog splash. Let's talk a minute about Braun Strowman running around the ring, taking everybody out the Strowman Express, and then out of nowhere, Dawkins just boom, just pancakes this man. I said, "Holy shit!"
Yeah,
you don't expect that. That was a WrestleMania moment in itself, because Braun is just the man is 300.
He's the unstoppable force.
He's a train. He is a train of a human being, and for him to run around the ring and just knock everybody down, and him just to get walloped by a 260-pound man, it was just. I was like, "Fuck! All right, that was nuts."
Yeah, you could hear the thud between Dawkins and Strowman, and the whole crowd went, "Ooh!"
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, that it was like a Gunther chop waking up the crowd.
Yeah, that was a fine match too on night 2. Maybe we'll get to talk about that one too.
Why not? Let's do it.
We will. Next match was Seth Rollins and Logan Paul.
Logan's impressed me for a guy who is not a wrestler.
Right,
He's just
I
a straight
agree.
athletic dude. So yeah, he's third match. That was his third match ever.
Yeah, well, I mean, you count the Royal Rumble as being a match.
Kinda. You're still working. You still got to put in the
Still working.
Yeah,
I mean, there was that part of the Royal Rumble when everyone ganged up on him.
Yeah. But yeah,
And he fought through it.
Yeah, I think it's like third singles match though. But
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Logan Paul has been very impressive in the WWE in the short time that he's been there. But at the same time, you've got to give the flowers to a guy like Seth Rollins, who, when you're a worker and you're a young worker and you're still really green, somebody like a Logan Paul, like a Bad Bunny, any other celebrity, you name it, working with a veteran like Seth Rollins is so special, because as good as Logan is,
Seth's going to make it better.
Him look that much better. Seth made him look like a superstar, no doubt. That kid's got all the talent in the world. He could be a great professional wrestler, but Seth Rollins made him look phenomenal in that match. JR, your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know, you can see Seth kind of walking him through this is what we're doing next, and they do 5 minutes of nonstop. Seth's on his ear, giving him the next stuff. They went at it. They put in their work. The crowd loved every bit of it. The false finishes, the hijinks with KSI.
Yeah. So who was it that was in the Prime bottle? Who was that?
It's KSI, a YouTuber that I think he boxed before, one of the big first YouTube boxing matches.
Okay. I have no idea who that is.
Now they're buddies together. So
he's also a recurring guest. I actually found this out. He's a recurring guest on Logan and Jake's Impulsive podcast.
Gotcha.
So I listened to it because Triple H was on there, and I was like, well, I want to hear what Triple H has to say. Whatever Triple H has to say, I'm going to listen, just because he's the COO of WWE. And
is he still?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, none of these positions are going to change within WWE. Now that the Endeavor sale is on the way, nothing's really going to change. It's not going to be anything major. But while Chef steps away,
that frog splash he hit on KSI was a thing of beauty too.
Man, it was a thing of beauty. It really was a thing of beauty.
Like,
I actually popped. I actually popped when he did what was it, Crown Jewel with Roman, and he did the frog splash, and he had the phone in his hand. He went live.
Yeah.
He went live on Instagram, and he did the frog splash. So you got to see him coming down on Roman. I thought that was kind of fun. That kid definitely makes it a lot of fun. Kid, I mean, he's probably 30.
I mean, he's easy to hate too. So he's a natural heel.
Yeah, great natural heel. I really enjoy watching him work. I hope they can come to terms where he can come back in the future and do a little more. Chef, final thoughts on Logan Paul and Seth Rollins?
I think it was the first time that there wasn't a gang of guys, beating up, banging away at Logan Paul.
Please don't.
There's a lot of times where that stuff can happen, especially with multiple people with multiple people in the ring. And
somebody mute his mic.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a great match. I think Logan Paul is a worthwhile talent. I think he's raised. I think his cream has rise to the top. And he did disappoint, because the worst thing he could have done is go out there and been disappointing and show that, like, oh, your fame is what put you in that ring. No, he came out there and he worked. He didn't get banged up by a gang of guys.
No.
I didn't say it. Didn't happen.
I'm gonna find you. Fourth match of the night. We have the women's 6-woman tag, the trio match between Trish, Lita, and Becky versus Damage Control, which is Bayley, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai. Becky and Lita's Trish were successful in this match, which makes perfect sense. But the big story coming out of that match was the next day on social media, where Bayley tweeted out that, something like the romance, every great romance eventually comes to an end. She was not on Raw Monday night. She's not been heard from since. Rumors are that she went to Japan to watch Mercedes Moné defend her IWGP Women's Championship in the Triple Threat at Sakura Genesis. JR, let's hear about this women's trios match.
So it was a good match. I think Lita and Becky took them to the match, because I don't think Trish has done a whole lot since then, like in-ring stuff. I know Lita has been training a whole lot.
She still got it.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, she came to Dragon Con a couple years ago, and you're like, oh no, like you're still working. Like, she's not, just staying in shape.
Yeah, Trish is doing her yoga thing.
Yep.
And like DDP. Well, it's not yoga, but yeah, I don't think Trish has been in the ring as much as Lita has. So I think that's why they kind of kept her off to the side for most of the match. Damage Control, I don't know what to say about them. Like, I thought they'd be pretty good, like in terms of like not like a bloodline, like beat up people all the time, but like much better on the card, like higher up. But I don't think they've been like used correctly as a good heel faction.
I agree. And I think that's why we're starting to get cryptic messages from Bayley. Io and Dakota lost their tag match on Raw against Raquel and Liv to become the #1 contenders to the women's tag belts. There's just a lot going on, or have we seen the end of Damage Control, JR? Have we seen the end?
It's not the end, it's right on his last leg. Because I've also heard like there's supposed to be like a rumor that Trish is going to turn on Lita and Becky so they can set up a Becky match at SummerSlam. That's the dirt sheets rumor type thing. So,
and then that I'm okay with,
yeah.
because as good as Trish is and was as a baby, she's a phenomenal heel. And I love the throwback, the callback to her in-ring gear for WrestleMania. I think it was 20 or 21. Whenever they were in Hollywood last time,
Yeah,
she wore essentially the same gear to the ring this time, which that's always neat to when you're a fan and you see the nostalgia from your youth. Plus, it's Trish Stratus. She's
she's smoking.
She was a big part of my youth. Yeah,
we love Trish. I'm not going to sit here and kill the lily. It's a gorgeous one.
But I think. Go ahead, Jared.
No, I was going to just put in on her IG. I follow her, and she got the same person that did her ring attire for that WrestleMania to this one. Same.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
That's cool. It's interesting because everyone, like, being a heel and being a good heel, it's what everyone wants. Like I was listening to Brutus Clay talking about that, and he was like, yeah, I want to be heel. And he was like, yeah, Triple H came up to me and was like, the old man likes you. He wants to be funny. He wants to be a face. And he's like, fuck that. I don't want to be a face. I want to be heel. And he's like, no. Like, you're going to be funny. Like, and so you had kind of this gangster. That's when the whole, jazz thing or the dancing thing came out.
The Funkadactyls.
Yeah.
He came out to Ernest the Cat Miller's "Somebody Call My Mama" theme song from the early 2000s. Like, holy shit.
But no, like, if you can be a good heel, yeah, I know, right?
It was over right then and
there. Vince doesn't always hit home runs.
This guy was Snoop Dogg's bodyguard.
Oh, was he?
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Well, that's why his name is Brodus Clay, because Calvin Brodus is Snoop Dogg's real name. And growing up,
wait, he has a real name of Brodus. What?
You and I gonna fight. I swear to God.
Okay.
You're gonna beat my ass, but we're gonna fight. He's a black belt, and I have no belts. So.
Well, you could whip him with Ray's belt.
Yeah, I could whip him with Ray's belt. Great segue into our next match. Thank you so much for that. This was one of my favorite matches of the night, and my daughter's too. Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio in a singles match. Son versus father. First time we've had a match like that in 20 years. That harkens back to Shane and Vince at WrestleMania 19. Big takeaways from this match were the introductions over anything else. Dominic Mysterio coming out in the correctional facility van in chains, in the Mysterio mask, and Ray coming out in Eddie Guerrero's lowrider, Snoop Dogg driving. I mean, this story has been phenomenal since it started in September at Clash at the Castle.
It is not over.
It's nowhere near over. I mean, you're going to get the Judgment Day versus Ray and Bad Bunny at Backlash. Maybe. It depends. But JR, being at WrestleMania, having a great time, you got to see this live. What was the reaction from the crowd when these entrances occurred? How did people react?
So it was awesome having Dominic come out in the van, but like I must have been near a bunch of like first responders or cops or something, because they all laughed at the you only said correctional. It usually says corrections. So it was singular. And then all the cops had their flag patch on backwards.
Okay.
So they couldn't even
it's a parody. Yeah.
Yeah. So they couldn't it was, but like everyone loved it. He came out, and then when he revealed that he had the mask, the Judgment Day colored mask on, that was awesome.
That was awesome.
And like a lot of us thought he should have kept it on until he was in the ring with Ray. And then Ray rips it off and says like something like, "You don't deserve this," or something. Would have been a little bit better.
I'm good.
But for the lowrider and hitting Viva La Raza and being in LA, everyone just lost it.
Hell yeah.
It was super loud. Like that place, I've been to Georgia
It is
Dome.
the 619.
What's that?
That is the 619.
Yeah. Well, is it? San Diego's the 619.
San Diego.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. They're the 310.
Shh.
Yeah.
Just let it happen. Just let it happen.
Yeah.
But they hit that Viva La Raza and all hell like broke loose. Like it was so loud. Like my eardrums were like popping for a little bit. Yeah, it was awesome. And then with Snoop Dogg, like people I guess didn't see Snoop Dogg originally running with Ray, and then they popped even harder. But yeah, it was amazing. That place.
And then Bad Bunny came to his rescue.
Yeah, later on, yeah. Setting up the like Coach Rob said, the
WrestleMania match.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope they get to do that match. I think that'll be really great because Bad Bunny really showed that he belonged in a wrestling ring at WrestleMania 2 years ago when he worked with Damian Priest. Really, really special. Really, really special work. I wanted to touch on something that you said earlier, JR, with the purple mask.
Yes.
I love a good Easter egg in wrestling. I love when they do things that are kind of hearkening back to the old days. When Ray was giving his Hall of Fame speech, and he talked about his match with Eddie Guerrero at the Halloween Havoc in 1997 being the match where he really, broke out and got to the next level. Ray came to the ring in a purple and black Phantom suit, like the Phantom, the cartoon from the funny pages.
And the live action movies featuring
in the live
Billy
action
Zane.
movie starring Billy Zane and Christy Swanson. Great movie. Everybody should go see it. But I love the fact that it was the same mask that Ray wore when he broke at his breakout match.
Okay.
As kind of a way to say Dominic is having his breakout match with his dad. Because he proved that he belonged in that ring. He's put on about 10, 15 pounds of muscle since he debuted a year and a half ago.
Yep.
Or 2 years ago. He's worked hard. Putting him with the Judgment Day was a phenomenal move. Him growing the mullet and he's starting to grow the thin beard, looking more and more like Eddie Guerrero every day, which I think is also fantastic. JR, how do you feel about Dominic and where he's going from here?
If you would have told me probably a year ago when they were doing the whole I think it was what Edge, Dominic, and his sister Aaliyah was involved. He couldn't cut a promo. It was like he was very green in the ring, you could tell. And then slowly, if you would have told me that would have been more like a pretty good heel, pretty good in the ring, like a year and a half later, I'd be like, yeah, no, he's not getting there. But he's improved leap and bounds over what I thought he was going to be when they had the whole the family storyline with them a year ago.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No.
And then
No,
it's kind of go ahead.
No, I just remember when Dom was babyface and it was him and Ray, and it was kind of like, we're the father-son duo we're gonna get for the tag team titles, and it's like, no,
It's like
let's turn up the heat. No, and how often do you get to have a father versus son, and then it's someone's got to whip you and shake, kid, and him being like, no, I don't want to do it, I want to fight you, I want to fight you, and then Ray was finally like, you know what, someone's got to spank you, and I'm gonna do it with my feet.
He did with his belt too.
Yeah.
They did.
Well, it's kind of funny because everyone's like at the show is always like whoop them. Everyone's essentially cheering for child abuse, and we all got it and loved it.
Loved it.
No,
Yeah,
I thought it was a great match. Great match. And then after that, I believe it was the Charlotte and then Bailey, Charlotte and Rhea Ripley match.
Yes, that was. Before we hop into that match, I'd like to take a quick break. I'd like to ask JR a few questions unrelated to the matches. How much was a beer at SoFi?
I think it was probably about $12
For a beer?
Yeah, for a beer.
Yeah,
It was cheaper drinking mixed drinks than beer. Mixed drinks were like $8 to $10, depending on wow, you had it. Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
damn.
I mean, that's
crazy.
that's almost the level when I was in Singapore for the F1 race. $14 for a Heineken. You're like, okay,
Good God,
yeah.
man! A damn Miller Lite's $10 at the Braves game. They make it $9.99 so you don't feel so bad. But goddamn, $12.
Yeah,
$12 for a 12-ounce can or an 18-ounce can?
like 18.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was still more than most people would pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 75 cents an ounce. That ain't great, but it's not horrible.
No.
What else you got,
No.
Rob?
Thing for the buck,
Now-
but it's a mixed drink.
Now, where were you sitting? Were you sitting ringside with the chairs that you get to take home, or were you sitting in the bleachers, or where were you?
We were in like section 212, so it was like mid-level. But
Okay.
like I didn't realize the stage would be where we were. So we were kind of like on the edge of the stage. We couldn't see the entrance, but we could see like right when they pop out. Like once they got to the edge of the beginning of this, like edge of the ramp, we could see them
Okay.
on the ramp.
Nice,
So we missed them when they first pop out.
nice. What was the chant of the night?
It was probably I don't know. Probably this is awesome for the Charlotte Rhea match.
Mm.
Cool.
Everyone loved that match.
Yeah, I
I mean-
agree.
They thought they should have been on last, which they had a good reason to be on last, but
Yeah. And that's actually something that Justin and Ryan were talking about when we did our predictions show, was that they felt like even though Rhea Ripley won the Royal Rumble and they were supposed to be the main event, the storyline between Sami Zayn and the Usos in the Bloodline was so much more captivating because of how long that story ran, that it was almost like you had to put them on last because you were kind of backed into a creative corner because of how big Sammy got out of nowhere
Mhm.
last 4 to 5 months. So I understand why they put the tag match on last, but when you have a title changing hands and Rhea Ripley wins Royal Rumble and the right to challenge for the title in the main event of WrestleMania, does it cheap? Ryan, do you feel like it cheapened that match at all, Rhea and Charlotte's match, by putting them on, secondary to the tag match?
On paper, yes.
Yes.
But the Rhea and Charlotte, goddamn, they did not disappoint. Like that was in all senses like just a war, and it's what you love seeing. Just two women just like trying to kill each other. It reminds me of like you watch girls in the UFC when the UFC just brought in women's fighting, like they were fighting for the sake that like the whole division's on the chopping block if they put in a bad performance.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the whole match felt like if we don't nail this, the women's division is going away. And so everything was pulled out, so many false finishes, so many like almost Charlotte Flair going for the figure 4, 3, 4, 5 times. And then kicking out of Rhea's finisher, like it was pulled at your heartstrings left and right. Yeah, JR, tell me, what were your thoughts?
Same question, JR.
Yeah, the false finishes were crazy, especially kicking out a Riptide. Like everyone thought she had it. Like, no, I don't think many people have kicked out of Rhea's Riptide, have they?
No.
Yeah, it's kind of like Sheamus's bro kick.
I'm pretty sure I could.
Yeah, I think Sheamus's bro kick is another protected finish. So yeah. So yeah, seeing like she hit that Riptide, everyone's going 1, 2, and then they all do the like hands on their heads, like can't believe Charlotte kicked out a Riptide. It's yeah.
Sure. Now, JR, refresh my memory. I may have this wrong. When Rhea won the title, did she win with it? Was it an avalanche ripcord? A Riptide?
Yeah.
It was an avalanche Riptide, right?
Yeah.
Off the second rope.
The second rope.
Yeah.
That's
that was exceptional.
I have a sidebar question when it comes to false finishes. Has Shawn Michaels' elbow from the top rope ever finished anybody off?
No. It's always been the super kick.
Okay. Because we're always like, and they couldn't get it every single time.
Randy Savage finished plenty of matches with the elbow off the top rope because it was his move. Shawn adopted it, but the super kick was Shawn's move. It's the same way that Jake Roberts had the DDT, and that would finish off matches. But if anybody else did it, they didn't have the oomph that Jake
did. The snake oil.
Yeah, they didn't have the move. You know, there was a running joke that, you know, before the match, Jake would get, you know, snake venom on his hand, and he'd hook them, and he'd stick his fingers in their mouth and DDT him, and that's
exactly why it finishes people off.
Yeah, it was like the running joke in kayfabe was that, you know, he had goo on it, he had snake oil or snake venom in his hands, and that's why he always finished the match with that DDT, because he hooked him in the mouth. But I don't know if that's
when your blood is coagulating in your head like that fast, you can't kick out. You can't.
That's so funny.
Somebody, it's like, you know, it's like smelling salt. You smell it, and all of a sudden you're up. You know, like with snake venom, you smell it, and your brain just slows down.
Genius. I love it.
It's fact.
I also want to add, like, I think Charlotte and Rhea were kind of pissed off they didn't get the actual main event spot, so they went out there, proved that they could hang with the big boys. We're going to put on this show that everyone's going to love, whether or not they love us or hate us, and force the men in the tag title, be like, it's your chance.
Show the fuck up.
Yeah. Go put on the show.
Follow us, boys. Dare ya.
Yeah, we just stole the show.
Yeah. And I love the fact that at the end of the match, Rhea's holding the belt and everybody's cheering for Rhea, because why not? Because she's amazing. And Charlotte is sitting on the outside of the ring, smiling and crying.
Yeah.
And later that night, she posted on Twitter, you know, congratulations to Rhea Ripley. The title is in incredibly safe and capable hands. So proud of you. And I really like when they do these out of character things on social media, because I think it just adds to the realism of wrestling, something that has been completely eliminated in the 60s, 70s, and 80s in the kayfabe era, when everybody lived the gimmick. You didn't know who was good, who was bad, and people were getting death threats as they were leaving the arenas because they were so hated.
So Rob, are you saying that Twitter has made pro wrestling better?
I will say this. I think social media has kind of helped pull the curtain away even more. because you look at UFC, and UFC was floundering. They weren't really like their the fame was, it was kind of doing like this, and it was just kind of starting to go down. And then Conor McGregor came along, and Conor McGregor is a pro wrestler in spirit. Now he's a fighter. He's a real combat sports athlete, 100%. But he brought the show to UFC. Ronda Rousey kind of brought the show. And now you've got a lot of fighters who have these huge personalities the way that wrestlers did. And now wrestlers are starting to be a little more on the real side off camera to kind of keep you invested. You know, UFC's done a great job of keeping people invested. WWE has done a great job of keeping people invested. I can't say the same for the NFL, the NBA, MLS, MLB in the same breath as combat sports in keeping people invested in what they're doing.
Well,
JR, I want to hear your thoughts on that.
I mean, I know like Ryan loves his UFC, but I haven't watched UFC consistently since, gosh, I don't know how long. Probably like maybe a few years after Chuck and Tito, or like probably
a
5
long
years
time ago, dude.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like I haven't been invested in quote unquote storylines from probably about 5 years after that consistently. I used to get my friends together to watch UFC for the big fights, and we haven't done that in quite some time.
Well, I mean, you know, to contradict Rob a little bit, you know, like Conor McGregor wasn't the first loud talker. The first loud talker was actually the bad guy, Chael Sonnen.
Yes.
And he basically showed everybody the path. Like, you want to make some money? You want to get people, you know, hyping you up?
Yeah.
Get your name on cards, talk some shit. And I remember, and this is what got me paying attention to him. He was kind of a so-so fighter. And then he got a shot to fight a guy named Nate Marquardt, who was a Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy.
He's a beast.
He's a beast. Yeah.
I know that name.
And they're like, oh, so what's your how do you think you're gonna go in this fight, Chael? And he's like, look, I'm telling you, I'm gonna go in this fight. I'm gonna take it to him. I'm gonna punch his face in. I'm like, well, are you worried about his jiu-jitsu? And he's like, no, I'm a Republican. I don't lay on my back and let another man come between my legs. I'm like, damn, son. Okay. Like, that is a great fucking, like,
wow.
And then he beat his face in.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what I love, is like, and that's what, you know, is fun about WWE. And what was great about Conor McGregor was that, like, he talked some epic level shit, but then he knocked people out, you know. Yeah. And with the WWE, you can talk some epic level shit, and then you put on an amazing show.
Sure. And you know, Tito Ortiz did the same thing, and Randy Couture a little bit, and Iceman Chuck Liddell. But I mean, the first name that sprung to my mind was Conor McGregor. I know our audience of 4 people, and I know that not all of them have been following UFC for decades like you have. So I just figured a name like Conor would at least give somebody a launching off point.
Totally.
JR, it's time for the main event.
Yeah,
God, what a main event. Please set this whole thing up for us. It's Sammy and KO versus the Usos for the tag belts. Set this thing up for us. Paint us a pretty picture, my guy.
Yeah, so it finally got dark. So the intros were great. We had who's the guy, Little Uzi or something, like, came out and did the I don't know if they showed on the broadcast or not, but Little Uzi sang the Usos through the ring with their one's theme. So that was pretty cool. Half the people didn't know who Little Uzi was. Little Uzi Vert.
I couldn't tell you who he is.
Yeah, I didn't know who he was. So he came out. That was pretty cool. And then they're already chanting, doing Sammy's theme music before he even came out. Like before even KO even hit the KO's music, people were already doing like Olay or the I forget how the theme music goes. But yeah, it was already loud. Like that place was loud the whole night for that match. Like I don't think you could. Yeah, you definitely were pumped up. If you weren't pumped up when before that match, everyone pins and needles, going with every single like, was it false? Anything who was going for a pin, everyone like kind of got to the front of their seats, hoping that Sammy or Kevin would pick up the pinfall. But yeah, it was amazing.
Well, there were a lot of moments in that match where like the Usos were just overwhelming them and like singling them out and like knocking KO out, and then focusing on Sammy, and Sammy had no backup. There were moments where you're like, oh shit, yeah, these guys are unbeatable.
Yeah, so they definitely kept Sammy away from Kevin for most of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was their game plan was pretty good until finally Kevin got the hot tag and got a few licks in, and then got the 1, 2, 3.
And then he had the Halua kick, the second one, and then when Jay fell on his chest, and he's like, "Nah, dude, put him back up."
I think it was like the kind of like the Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels thing.
A little bit,
yes.
Where he's like, "Oh, I love you," but then kicks him a third time.
Yeah, and then the pop after that was incredible.
Yeah, that got loud quick. And then the fireworks scared half the people because it looked like they were going to shoot them off and it got delayed. So anyone who's like in that section, like you just got obliterated with like 500 million fireworks.
Damn. So JR, like all things considered, night one, what was your favorite part? And then night two, what was your favorite part? Because I don't think we have time to go. I don't think we have time to cover night two.
Night one was definitely Rayo winning. That was my favorite part. And then probably the KO Sami Zayn second. Night two, I wanted Cody to win, but that didn't happen.
So I know there's a lot of controversy, and I don't want to talk too long on this, but a hero that wins without any roadblocks, without any failures, it feels false.
Yeah.
So I think if Cody can rally and come back and fight Roman again, it'll be that much sweeter if he can beat Brock. Because yeah, dude, like even Superman, like no one wants to see Superman just steamroll through somebody. They want to see him get beat up a little bit, have some losses, and then once you come back, you grow, and then you kick some ass.
Yeah.
Bully Ray was on Busted Open Radio either, I think it was the Tuesday, the day after the Raw after Mania, after Brock Lesnar just obliterated Cody. And Dave LaGreca, who's the host of that show, was on fire Monday morning. He was pissed off. He was screaming, how could you fumble this so badly, WWE? And then obviously the next night, Cody gets crushed by Brock. LaGreca's on the next morning. Oh, what are they doing to Cody? Oh my God, he should have stayed in AEW. Blah, 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 blah. Just losing his skittles, this poor guy. And then Bully Ray, one of the greatest heels in the last 20 years, he's just quiet. And he says, Dave, how would Dusty have booked that match? He said Dusty would have had Cody lose that match. Dusty would have had Cody get his ass kicked on Raw because Cody has not gone through his hard times yet.
Yep.
And until Cody goes through his hard times, he's not worthy of being the champion.
I agree.
And he will continue to have hard times. He'll win a couple, he'll lose a couple, he'll win a couple, he'll lose a couple. But all in that process, it's only going to make him look stronger as the biggest baby face in the company. And when he goes to face Roman again, after Roman has crossed his 1,000-day run, Cody will come in bigger, better, stronger than ever, and he will obliterate Roman Reigns, and he'll win the belt or the belts, depending on what they do with the titles.
Well,
So,
on that same note, failure is the biggest motivator.
You ain't kidding.
Going back to Israel Adesanya from last night, he got knocked out by Alex Pereira 5 months ago. And then he came back last night and he's like, no, sir, revenge is the best served cold. And he knocked him out. Like, when you fail, there's nothing more motivating. And so if Cody can rally, he will be unstoppable.
Unstoppable. JR, final word on WrestleMania. What was your match of the night? Was it Rhea Ripley in Charlotte? Yeah. I feel
was it Brock versus Omos?
Yeah. Dude, that was a better match than Theory and Cena.
Yeah. That opened night too, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I love the reason they give. Brock was pissed off that he had to open WrestleMania against Omos. That's why he attacked Cody. I'm like, give me a break. Brock wanted to open Mania. They said the last time he was on Raw and he opened Raw with Omos, he got to the airport, got on a plane, and went home before the show was even over.
Yeah, that's how he was with the other Mania.
I would be willing to bet that Brock coming out at the beginning of Mania a couple of years ago, and then he came out and opened it again, was number one, probably a rib on him. Number two, he was probably in the plane on his way back to wherever the hell he was going to. After so he probably left the arena. He's probably like, screw it, I'm going home.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what most of the people say. That he gets that first match, goes home.
I heard.
Brings his light.
Yeah. Well, JR, thank you for coming on our show tonight and sharing your WrestleMania Night 1 experience. Anything else you'd like to add from the night? Like, where are you? Are you in Atlanta? Do you live here in Atlanta?
Yeah, I live in Tucker.
Nice. So you got on the plane and went over. Were there a lot of WrestleMania fans on the plane with you when you were heading out to LA?
Heading out, no. Coming back, yes.
That's cool.
A bunch of people went to the show in LA and came back.
And did you take like the red eye after on Saturday night or Sunday morning?
No. We went out Sunday morning.
Okay.
So rad, dude.
That is awesome. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
Well, next year is WrestleMania 40 emanating from Philadelphia. And I personally would love it if we could go. That's going to be a hard ticket to get, but it is the 40th anniversary of WrestleMania. It'd be a really, really good show to go to.
That would be. We got to talk about some budget things.
Yeah. The only problem is that it's Philly in April, so the weather is hit or miss.
Dress warmly, folks.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh man. Well, JR, you've said it all. I feel good. Thank you again.
No, thank you for having me.
Yeah, JR, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We are on Amazon Podcasts. We are on Apple Podcasts. We are on Spotify. We are on Rivers. We were on Riverside. Now we're on Zoom. So
no longer Riverside.
No longer Riverside because, I don't know, they just weren't great. But yeah, give us the like on Instagram. We are Better Than Broadway. For the Nighthawks, for Chef, for Justin, and our special guest, JR. I am Coach. Happy wrestling, everybody. See you next time.
Hit the music.